is this the downfall of Mavuika? Durin's coming out. He's a support. He's a pyro applicator. A lot of Mavuika's teams are in jeopardy. And yeah, the answer is yes, by the way. Because not only is a lot of, teams in jeopardy for Mavuika, she's also in jeopardy of being not the best pyro DPS, which is insane because they didn't have to make 3 pyro characters in the non-Karai region. They didn't have to do it. They didn't. I don't get why they did. I really don't. But we now have Durin, Nicole, and Alice all being pyro characters. And I mean, there's a chance that, Nicole is the DPS and, Alice is a support, right? Just like Durin, Alice is a support, Nicole's a DPS. And we see her DPS levels end up somewhere with Flynn's and Nefer. The only issue I see with that is that Flynn's and Nefer, don't have Columbina right now, and they're still really good. And I am curious to see, will Nefer be better than Mavuika with Columbina? We'll have to see. But I mean, the writing was on the wall when Mavuika kinda, released, to be honest. She's pure damage. And what I mean by that is that other than this, at C0R1, this character's entire gimmick is her damage. That is the easiest way to power creep a character. The reason why, and some people may be like, oh, well, no, it's not. Shangling was like 5 years running and she was like the best pyro applicator because of her damage. Yeah, because Shangling was 5 years overtuned. That's genuinely what happened with Shangling. Shangling was 5 years overtuned. They did not tune this character correctly. If Hoyo could go back and nerf her damage, they would. Trust me. But they knew what they were doing with Mavuika, and her damage is now in jeopardy. And especially for someone like Kinich, where her damage isn't that high, and we could see Durin maybe replace something, see what his, kit does. We'll see how much damage he's able to do. We have Kinich, we have Mulanni, we have, who else? Varissa. Mulanni and Varissa are the number one, pairing for Mavuika's gonna lose these as her best, things. Is she gonna be a best support character in the game after this? I don't think so. Genuinely. I think when Durin drops, it is very nice that we're gonna have an option to get Mavuika off the teams because she's still gonna be the best power DPS. But when Durin drops, I mean, he does have a DPS. He does. We'll see. Last time they made a support character that also had a DPS mode, it was Shielonen. So, I mean, Shielonen was pretty good even as a DPS, but, pretty good because of how good of support she was. But right now, it is seeming like Durin is about to completely change Varissa and Mulanni, and I feel like both of these characters are going to get a buff. And even with Arlecchino, it's kind of sad, because it's here, man. Mavuika, they don't want her to stay as strong as she has been. She was insane for 5.0, but it's very clear that they are just like, nope, get out of here. And this is what I kind of expect from now on, because we are now seeing these older characters getting buffed. Just so you guys are aware, all other gacha games that, have done these older characters getting buffs, they age their characters out. They don't care. Dragon Ball Legends, I came back to it with Legends Fest is here now. I have a 7th anniversary team. And it works, but if I go up against any of the modern units, which are like 6 months later after the 7th anniversary, they're trash. Right? And that's a PvP game. Luckily, in Genshin, it's PvE, so we don't have to deal with that. However, that is what's going to happen. These games, they introduce this sort of like, oh yeah, we now are going to buff older characters. They're not going to be nearly as afraid to, destroy characters like Mavuika, characters like Arlecchino, characters like Nevi. They're not going to be. Because they're just going to sit there and be like, well, the clock's on now for them to, get their Awakening, EZA, Zenkai, Witches, Notebook buff. I don't know. But I think that is mostly what's going to end up happening. And, with Mavuika, it's going to be like, yep, you got a year where you ran the game. Now you're over. You're done. It's not like Mavuika's going to go anywhere. Like, I'm saying the downfall, but, she's still going to be, like, if you're using her, she's still going to be top 5, probably. Even if, if Columbina comes out and she's, like, uber broken, one, there's a chance she's better for Mavuika, but the issue is Melt, right? Melt being an issue. I don't see Mavuika lasting past like 6.5 in terms of being the best of something. I think she's gonna fall. I think we're gonna come out. Alice is gonna come out, right? And she's gonna be doing C2 Mavuika numbers. I might be a little insane for saying that, but you take Alice, C1, R1, whatever one is better for her, C2 Mavuika numbers. I could see it. Depending, again, Columbina's not out. We're already seeing that Durin's basically just going to replace Mavuika on a lot of teams, which is nice and, bad at the same time. But, I don't see a world where this character comes out of 6.0 at all and is remotely considerable as one of like the best DPSs. I mean, let's go ahead and take a little history lesson. All right, so let's go back to, Al-Haytham was literally just above the game, so maybe we don't talk about 3.0. But if we go to like Nevi, 4.0, there was clearly, it was Nevi and Arlecchino, right? And there, no question, nobody else is better, right? And then we go to 5.0. Mavuika and Skirk. Those characters were a level above. The thing is, I'm kind of expecting Alice to be that level above character. I am. There is a chance it's Varka. There is. Maybe. But I'll be honest, I feel like I would lean more towards Alice. Assuming she's summonable. She has to be summonable. They teased her. They actually just teased her. So there's no way that she's not summonable. And then we have Nicole, right? I'm very, whatever on it. I mean, obviously, there's a chance that Mavuika, because of how many pyro characters there are, there's a chance that Mavuika ends up being, like, perfect synergy. But, right, before Mavuika comes out, so does Silali, but the issue is Mavuika and Arlecchino want the same teammates, right? But it makes sense right now, because Durin, there's no way we have his DPS. There's no way. I don't feel like we have his DPS whatsoever. I don't think he's going to be for Columbina. It'd be really weird if he was, but I doubt that he is. What I think he's going to be for is Alice or Nicole, right? It's possible Alice is another support and Nicole is the DPS, because I imagine they're not, okay. Again, another thing these gacha games do, 2 celebrations, major throughout the year, right? 2 characters, major throughout the year, 2 times where people are gonna, take my money. That's kind of what these games have set up, and it's a very good pattern, apparently, because every gacha game copies it. There's no gacha game that doesn't have 2 points of the year that I'm aware of, that doesn't have just 2 points of the year, where it's like, uber broken, new character come out, oh my god, they're insane. We got Skirk. We got Mavuika, we got Arlecchino, we got Nevi, right? It's kind of the point, you have Dokkan GDC anniversary, Legends Fest anniversary. 2 points throughout the year. All these major gacha games that I've followed a little bit. I'm pretty sure it happens in Star Rail too. With anniversary, closer to anniversary, they've released, Acheron or whatever. And I'm pretty confident that like someone else. They released Castrois, I think, during anniversary also. The pattern's there. We're getting 2 major characters. Alice is going to be that major character, and I just feel like it has to be a DPS. She has to be a DPS. It just doesn't make sense to me, though, why we're getting Durin now, Like, why would we get Durin now if Alice is, like, 50 updates in the future, Like, it doesn't make sense. It smells a little weird to me, right? Because obviously they're dropping Columbina right after Durin, right? I'm gonna be honest, there's no way. 6.3, I called it 6.2 because I thought they weren't gonna do the Mavuika thing. They did do the Mavuika thing where they saved it till 6.3, so it seems like it's the new standard. Yeah, and you can even see here, Mavuika came out on December 31st. Skirk came out on, I don't know my months, but it came out 6/17, all right? Yeah, so literally like 6 months later, 5.5 basically, she comes out uber broken, so I do really, I'm kind of skeptical, like I feel like Mavuika is literally just so I don't know how far we've strayed from the point, but yeah, we're getting so many pyro characters, right? So many. It doesn't make sense that we would get that many pyro characters and it not be a mono pyro team. Because what are we going to need that many pyro characters for? They're not going to release 2 pyro DPSs. I refuse to believe that they're going to be like, yeah, let's go 2 pyro DPS. No, right? Like that, just no. It's not going to happen like that. I just don't see that happening where they're like, yeah, we're going to directly compete compete. Like, new characters come out, we're gonna have them directly compete with each other. They have not done that. Like, okay, let's go back another history lesson. All right, let's start with 4.0 again. Hydro DPS, Cryo DPS, Hydro support, Geo DPS, Animo support, Geo support, Pyro DPS, Electro DPS, Dendro support. Notice how none of those overlapped at all? Like, their teams obviously overlap, but that's actually good. That's good. That's what you want to see. Not, you know, oh, hey, you know, at 5.0, they released another Hydro DPS. That's when they unlock the chains and they're like, go, my, yeah, I don't know. Go and, you know, do all this stuff, right? So, you know, none of this overlaps. So we'll have to see. Maybe, you know, chat, maybe Alice dies. I don't know. To me, it makes no sense why they would ever release a, you know, to me, it makes no sense why they would ever release 3 Pyro characters. Like, how many Pyro characters did we get in Alan? Oh, one. Not cry, 3. Why? I'm assuming that this is just because I have my Traveler resonance, but that is also funny how technically we can say 5. Technically, we can say 5. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.